Welcome to Crypt Theory, where we go over the supernatural, the paranormal, and the dark histories of the real world. Let's get into it. Quick note, 98% of my viewers are not subscribed. What you doing? Make sure down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell to support me, and comment down below any ideas for creatures that you would want me to go over, any ideas to help push my content even further would always help. And as always, I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Alright. Today, we are going to the Gobi Desert to uncover the terrifying legend of the Mongolian deathworm. We're talking about a deadly worm today. Let's go! Let's go. This creature has fascinated and frightened locals and explorers alike. The tales of his deadly capabilities, sparking both fear and intrigue, as things normally do. It's either they scare us to death, at the same time they're like, ooh, this looks cool. Let's do it. Let's go investigate. Yeah, I know there was like a serial killer supposedly here, and this ghost is supposed to reside here. Now let's go into it. Let's go into the middle of the desert where there's like a big death worm and investigate. Smart people. Anyways, join me as we do the thing here. We explore the history, the sightings, the theories, and all the lore surrounding these creatures that we go over. Let's get into why you're here. Let's go to Mongolia and, yeah, let's look at a desert worm. In the heart of Asia, in a sprawling Gobi Desert that stretches across Mongolia and northern China. The legend of the Mongolian deathworm, or Olgi Korkoi. I'm gonna stick to Mongolian deathworm. As it is known as Mongolian, has passed down through generations, capturing the imagination of those who hear it. We've seen this notably in Dune, and some other forms of movie media. Yes, and also you've seen this in video games a lot, like big worm creatures that have been like there's a bot, like mainly bosses have been depicted as Mongolian deathworms in several games. Can't name any off the top of my head, but I know several games do use it. Let's see. The Mongolian the Olgi Korkoi translates to intestine worm, a reference to the creature's reported appearance. Descriptions from local nomads portray the deathworm as about 2 to 5 feet long, blood red in color, and resembling a cow's intestine. Interesting. Because originally when I was researching for this video, I thought it was like, oh, this is a massive worm, thinking like 100 feet, maybe 200 feet. No, it's really just 5 feet long, which is also very interesting because everywhere it's depicted, movies, books, even games, it is this huge, massive creature. But in reality, it's just about the average height of a female in the U.S., but a little bit shorter. But when you hear Mongolian deathworm, you think, oh, this huge, massive worm. Anyways, the first detailed account of the deathworms were brought to the Western world in the earliest 20th century. In 1926, renowned paleontologist Roy Chapman Andrews mentioned the creature in his book On the Trial of Ancient Man, While he was skeptical of its existence, he mentioned the worm brought it to the attention of the wider audience. So he mentioned it. He was still skeptical about if it was actually real or not, but he thought, okay, well, this would be a good mention just in case something later down the road, or so more people would investigate it more down the road, which we do see a lot. I'm not sure if this is real. They put it. They're not sure if it's real. They put it in their books or something, so people would be like, "Oh, like I'm interested in this. I want to do research myself," and just go into the research, go more into depth, and see if they can find anything that he couldn't find. The Mongolian deathworm has the ability to kill in several terrifying ways. It is said to spit corrosive acid that can dissolve anything it touches, can emit electrical discharge from powerful enough to kill a person. These abilities have been cemented in its reputation as one of the most dangerous creatures in the desert. This is from the lore standpoint of the actual area. This is not going off of the media push, because the media push it just straight up eats people. But it's because it's depicted as this huge worm compared to the actual sightings and stuff and the local lore, to say, oh no, this is not a huge worm. This is something that just spits acid or makes a electrical eel, like a land eel type sense of emitting electricity, but like so many volts that it can instantly kill somebody. The first significant expedition to find the death worm was conducted in 1990 by Czech cryptozoologist Ivan Mackerly. Mackerly led several expeditions in the Gobi Desert, armed with accounts of locals uh, and a deep interest in uncovering the truth behind the legend. We do see this a lot. Cryptozoologists, scientists, researchers, independent researchers, and all that try to go in and research everything they can, find everything they can, because that is always the interesting thing to say, oh, wait, this is interesting. I want to go into this. I want to go into this. I want to hit hard. I want to go in. I want to learn. I want to see if I can find something somebody else didn't. Malcary's expeditions, while ultimately inclusive, brought a wealth of information about the deathworm to the world. His findings suggested that the creature might be more active during the summer months, when the desert heat at its peak. So it's it's setting up as like a it likes hot weather and it hates the cold, or it hates mild to moderate temperature compared to blazing hot. In 2005, the Sci-Fi Channel show Destination Truth conducted their own investigation on the Mongolian deathworm. While the team did not find any definitive evidence of their evidence. Their expedition added to the growing interest and lore surrounding the creature. So another media outlet pushing this of, yeah, let's go look into this and see what we can find. And even if they don't find anything, it pushes people and pushes things through people's heads. So it's like, oh wait, this actually might be real. They just might have gotten unlucky. What could explain these sightings and the stories of the Mongolian deathworm? Some scientists believe tales could attribute to sightings of other desert creatures, such as large worms or snakes. So there are relatively larger worms in the desert, but not of that size and that look. Relatively, which is interesting. And if you get hot enough, you will start hallucinating. So it could be a mix of, oh wait, that's just a like it's like a relatively bigger worm than you're used to seeing, and you're hallucinating, so it looks bigger than it is. It would be confusing of how they got the acid spitting and the electrical discharge, but I think that comes with telling it over and over and over and over and over again through different media outlets, different people, different nomads that have maybe changed the story in their head, that heard it and they were like, oh, wait, I think I can make this more interesting and more appealing. Um, which is always interesting to see and look into. Uh, um, the appearances have been exaggerated, such as over time, as I said, through media like Dune and all video games and stuff like that. Others suggest that the death worm could be a misidentified species of worm, lizard, or limbless burrowing reptile found in parts of Asia, while the worm lizards lack the deadly attributes ascended by the death worm. The appearances could be easily inspire fear and the myth. We see this a lot through history and looking throughout cryptids on the channel. You do see this a lot with misidentification and people just saying, "Oh well, this." People skeptics believe, "Oh well, this was just as in the Wendigo last episode. This might have just been a thing where to scare people into thinking that's actually real and scare the true community, and it's gotten to such a point where it's made its rounds of it saying, "Oh wait, this is actually true." We've also seen this in Goatman, where it's like people skeptics are like it might have just been they don't want people like walking in dark alleys alone at night. We've seen this with let's see, who's the chupacabra. We've seen that a little bit with. We've also seen that with multiple others that are I can't name off the top of my head right now, but we have seen that a lot here. Of they're coming off of originalized lore that's like, oh wait, well this is just gonna scare people so they don't do this one thing that we don't want them to do. Um, Despite the skepticism, many locals firmly believe that the experience of the death worm and their accounts describe a creature that emerges from the sand, especially after heavy rainfall, can cause sudden and inexplicable deaths. Um, Makes sense. I mean, especially after rainfall, saying it's very hot, and after rainfall, that means they like it very muggy and very humid, which I mean makes sense. Are burrowed underground the whole time, and it's not. To an extent, it's very odd that people would be dropping like that or like that, and it's like it's weird. People are just dropping like boom, 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 and it wouldn't make sense. But from what I've read, it's been just and during my research, it's just been like there's been a couple deaths. It's not like it's killing multiples at a time. It kills pretty much, from what I've read, one at a time. There was one or two cases that I looked into that had two at a time, but besides those cases, it's usually just one at a time. And it's usually they have something else wrong with them. All right. In recent years, cryptozoologists, adventurers, seekers, scientists have continued to explore the Gobi Desert, hoping to find evidence of the death worm. Advances in technology, such as drones, underground penetrating radars, have given these explorers new tools to do research, which I think this is like really good for something like something that burrows underground compared to the Wendigo that just sits in the woods, that's in the deep in the woods, the Skinwalker that's deep in the woods, the Yeti that's on Mount Everest, um, Bigfoot that's deep in the woods, the Jersey Devil, Mothman that just flies around that one area, um, the Chupacabra that's all over the place, the Goatman, which is also like a deep wooded creature, and several others on the channel, and several others that we will go into in the future. This is probably one of the more big ones. I believe also what could help with stuff like this, if they could find a way to like have something so pressurized that it can go to the very bottom of the deep ocean. You could probably eventually find something that leads to a kraken or of some kind or a megalodon of some kind, which would be always interesting to see how technology helps us search for these cryptids and see if we can uncryptify them and say, oh wait, these are actually real. These are not fake fears that people have made up and lore has been made up over time, instead of saying, "Oh wait, like this is real. Let's watch out." Whether you view this as a cryptid or a yet to be discovered creature of folklore, symbol of the unknown, its story continues to captivate, inspire. The legend of the Mongolian deathworm reminds us that there are still many mysteries waiting to be undiscovered, and hopefully one of these days we will get confirmation on everything. I'm gonna make sure to stay on top of that. If something ever comes out, Bigfoot confirmed, real, I'll of course be skeptical of it at first, but we'll make sure it's real. Make sure to do all the research, the actual research. Um, yeah, and all that stuff. Anyways, it's time to wrap this up. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for me. Do me a favor. Comment any cryptid creatures you would want to see later down on the line. Any suggestions to make my content better. And as always, I will see you in the next one.